Hey guys, Rest42 here, Megan here, and today we're going to do a reading of the book I wrote and is published, and you can find it on Amazon, and I will try to remember to link it in the description. Um, it's called Life of a Disability by Megan Browning. Um, and this book is about my life, so I guess you can say it's a bio. So let's get into it. Have you ever wondered what the life of someone with a disability was like? Well, this book will give you an insight to that. Do you know what cerebral palsy is? I do not know the true definition of it, but I do know that I have it. I was blessed with the smallest case out there. Most people, when they hear the word cerebral palsy, they think in a wheelchair or even paralyzed and cannot take care of themselves. Some are in that situation. However, I was blessed by the grace of God and do not have that kind of life. I am lucky that I can care for myself and live a somewhat normal life, unlike others that have my disability. I do not have to live my life in a wheelchair. I can take care of myself and make my own decisions. You cannot really tell that I am not what people call a complete normal person. The only way you can tell is if I or someone told you. Another way is if you pay close attention to the way I walk. A third way to tell is if you pay attention to my speech when I get tongue-tied sometimes. Those that do know that I have a disability can totally tell that I don't let it stop me. I definitely do not let it stop me. I just carry on life as if it does not exist. Chapter 1. Where it all began. Most people are diagnosed with a disability when they were born, or even before they were born. I, however, was not. It was not till the time I started walking that my family noticed something was different about me. I started walking on my toes instead of heel to toe like a so-called normal person would. My right heel was 2 inches higher off the ground than my left. My parents took me to countless doctors to find why I did not walk like a quote-unquote normal person should. I was 3 or almost 3 years old when I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. From the time I was 3 till the middle of 3rd grade, I spent my life in and out of casts and braces. Every 3 to 6 months, my parents would take me back to Shriners and to either had casts made or be fitted for braces. The only joy I got out of that was I got to pick out a free toy out of the toy box at the doctor's, and my mom and daddy bought me a toy and took me to do something every time we went. My parents told me that starting with the first visit, it took them and 2 or 3 nurses to hold me down so the doctor could look at my feet. If you were not family or someone I trusted, I would not let you touch my feet. Chapter 2. Life with cast and braces. Life sucked having cast on for sure. I couldn't take a bath like a normal kid got to enjoy. I had to have my hair washed in a kitchen sink. I could not enjoy playing in the snow without wearing trash bags over them. My legs and feet were itchy all the time. Every time they took them off, my feet were all dried out. By the time my skin got back to normal, it was time to have the cast put back on. The only joy I got out of that was picking different colors. I also enjoyed kicking hard things and not having to worry about my legs or feet getting hurt. Braces were not fun either. They always pinched my ankle and kneecap, where they would pinch and rub a where they would pinch and rub, I would have rashes or bruises. It was hard finding shoes to fit over them as well. I could never get them on or off by myself either. I couldn't play in the sand without having to take them off and empty all the sand. I hated when the only few times that I did not have casts and braces on, I had to sleep with some heavy weighted wraps on my legs every night. I could not get them on or off without help either. Again, the only joy I got out of that was picking out the designs for my races. Chapter 3. Somewhat Normal Life. After my daddy died in May of 2006, my mom got remarried to the dad I had now. My dad noticed that the casts and braces were not helping me at all and told my mom no more trips down there to Shriners. They are not helping her at all. Finally, after all those years of trips back and forth down there, I did not have to worry about that anymore. I enjoyed actually getting to enjoy my life as a somewhat normal kid without having to worry about getting sand in my braces or having to cover my cast when it rained or snowed. I actually enjoyed feeling the sand between my toes for once. I loved the first year I actually got to feel snow with my feet for the first time. I actually got to enjoy running and playing like all the other kids should get to experience. Chapter 4. Life of a Broken Foot. In February of 2009, my 4th grade class and I were outside walking the gravel driveway behind the softball complex. I was just walking along with my class and my feet would always roll on its side while I walked occasionally, and it normally was not a big deal. I normally would roll it back over and go on. Well, on that day when my right foot decided to roll on its side, I knew something was not right. I went screaming and saying my foot just broke. My substitute teacher in class came running back towards me. The sub said, "Try walking on it and get to the nurse." I looked at her dead in the eyes with my eyes filled with tears and running down my face and said, "Do you think if I could, I would?" "It is broken. I cannot walk on it." She said, "Well, try anyway." When I did, I screamed because I got sharp pain down my body. She then said, "Okay, maybe you're right. It is broken." A few days later, Mom took me to the family doctor she and I were seeing at the time, and she looked at it and said, "I do believe it is indeed broken, but let me refer you to this foot and ankle specialist to be sure." A few days later, I saw the specialist, and he agreed that my foot was broken. I did not only break it in one place, though. I ended up breaking it in 5 places. I spent the next 4 to 6 months in cast and then 1 or 2 in a boot before I could walk with a normal shoe. After I got out of the cast and the boot, the foot and ankle specialist told my parents that he could do surgery to fix my problem. Chapter 5. Life of Healing from Surgery Number 1. In January of 2010, I had my first surgery to try to fix my problem. I had a screw put in to help my bones grow straight. I also had a donor bone put in by my big toe to move my toes over where they would be straight. The foot and ankle specialist also put in some self-dissolving metal in my foot to help my bones grow straight. I spent the second half of 6th grade homeschooled. I loved being homeschooled. I got to do my work whenever I wanted. When I woke up in the middle of the night, bored, I would even do my work then. My teachers were impressed with me. I usually would have more than a week's worth of work done when my teacher came to get to work. I have done every Wednesday. One of my 2 6th grade teachers made me quit doing history work because I was 4 or 5 chapters ahead of my class, and he was tired of having to make tests up just for me that the rest of the class would never get to. Needless to say, I got done with school way quicker than the rest of my class that year. I also got a cast signed by a NASCAR driver named Mark Martin. After I got out of the cast and boot, that time I got to enjoy life and finish and graduate and start working in the real world in 2017. Chapter 6, Life of Healing from Surgery Number 2. 11 and a half years after my first surgery on my right foot, I started having problems. They started in April of 2021. I spent 12 hours on my feet at a time for 2.5 weeks, cleaning my grandma's old house for my dad after he made a mistake of letting one of his employees and his family live there. They totally trashed the place. They did not know what cleaning was whatsoever. Anyway, during those 2 weeks of working at my work, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, and coming home to change clothes and go straight over there to work on the house, I started having pain. The pain first started in both feet. I thought it was just because I was not used to being on my feet for 12 hours every day. So I shook it off and wore braces on both feet and went on. Well, after a while, the pain in the left foot quit. The right foot, however, kept on hurting. I went on 4 months just ignoring it and doing my own thing. Well, early September 2021, I finally said enough was enough. I went and had it looked at. When I went to the family doctor, my parents started seeing and got x-rays. He said, well, no wonder you're having problems walking and cannot put pressure on your foot right here. Apparently, when my bones healed, they grew straight and like they should. They also pushed the screw where I was walking on the head of it and feeling the pain in my heel every step I made. The family doctor sent me to the doctor that did my surgery the next week. At least the family doctor said that the foot and ankle doctor did the best surgery he ever saw. The next week, when I went to see the foot and ankle doctor, he said I had a butterfly nut in my foot, and the head of the screw was causing me so much pain. 2 weeks later, he did surgery on my right foot to remove all of the hardware in my foot. I spent first 2 weeks in a wrap with stitches on my foot and crutches. That was not fun. Day 2 or 3 after surgery, everything in my body hurt besides the foot. I could not even sit up without help. On day 4, I went to the foot and ankle doctor to check on my stitches. I told him I had to be able to sit at my computer and do something besides lay in bed. He allowed me to do that. The next week, I went back and got my stitches out. Since I had the surgery, Next week, I went back and got my stitches out. Since I had the surgery, that was the only pain I had out of my foot. 2 incisions were made on my heel to take the hardware out, and the stitches were tight and skin started to grow back around them. The next day, I was able to put my foot in the boot and was able to start walking without it. I spent 3 weeks wearing it and only had to use my crutches when I took the boot off. It still hurt to put pressure on my foot without it. Today is October the 28th, 2021. And about a week ago, yesterday, I started walking without the boot around the house. I still have to wear it when I leave the house. On Halloween, I'm going to try again to wear a sock. After a few weeks ago, when I tried, the spot on the side of my heel did not give me any problems. The bottom of the heel, however, was sure to let me know that it was not going to let me wear a sock yet. I still cannot go back to work until after November the 15th, 2021, after my next appointment with my foot and ankle doctor. Hopefully it will not be much longer till he releases me to go back to work. I hate having no income. Good thing that I was smart and saved money to be able to pay my bills while out. I am enjoying my time off though. This is the first time in 4 years I have been working in the real world without missing work for more than 2 days. I guess you can say I deserved this time off, even though surgery is the reason I got it. I hope this book gives you the insight of someone with a disability you were looking for. I gave you from the time of my journey of being diagnosed till now. I am still recovering from the second surgery. Hopefully my life will be back to normal before you know it. I hope my experience with cerebral palsy helps you see that not all people that have it are in a wheelchair or paralyzed. Some of us can take care of ourselves even though we have a disability. I hope you enjoy reading my short book about what my life was like. Cannot wait to see you when you read my next book. Well, that's it for the reading of my life with a disability. So, anyway, for those that are subscribed, stay subscribed and watch at least one piece content from my channel. I hope you watch them all, but one piece content is okay. Thank y'all. For those subscribed in the future, thank y'all in advance. If you want to know what I'll put on the channel, please check my bell on my channel and my uploading schedule on there. Also, I have my online store with t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve shirts, blankets, pillows, decal stickers, cups, posters, and canvases. All linked in the bio. I also have my podcast linked in the bio. And if you want more content from this girl, please like, share, comment if you haven't already. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know about every single time I do an upload. Rascal Prey 2, Browning, Simmer, Megan, out. Peace out.